Airstrip and the start of round 5 of the South African National Off-Road Championship, the Bell Trans-Tongoland Challenge in northern KwaZulu-Natal. Back to the start line again, and another spectacular sight as the quads are sent on their way by the light aircraft. Also imitating Grand Prix cars, it was another mad dash to the end of the runway. Each rider trying to get the advantage of turning into the tight left-hander first. Of course, not everyone could do it, and the funnel design of the track at the end of the runway would cause quite a few problems with a number of riders towards the middle and back of the field. Paul Chomsey on his Yamaha Banshee, one of the local entrants, took the early lead and was showing some experienced national riders the way. Chomsey built a bit of a gap over the rest of the field, consisting mostly of national competitors. The riders were still taking it relatively easy, not wanting to ruin their race by doing something stupid, and also playing the tactical game, seeing who's where and doing what. An early casualty was championship leader Johan Kruger.
What seems to be the problem?
No power, no spark. Just dead.
John Lambert and Hendrik Fourie in their Digidor Porsche were effectively leading the car category because although they were behind Rob Walk, the Chepiks and Richard Carolan, those three had missed the marshal and were in danger of being disqualified. Reineke and Houghton were just behind Jackie Hubert and Danny Smith, with Coetzee and Leek chasing the Land Cruiser for production vehicle honours. Stanley Illman and Frans Stangl in their race car were taking things fairly easy in the slippery bits that were scattered all over the route after some good rains in recent weeks. Close on their heels were JJ Vormrans and Tim Calvert in their Blue Chip Racing race car, who also had to keep a wary eye on Nick and Ryan Harper in their Pro-M race car. The local population enjoyed what seemed to be fun and games, but it was definitely nothing of the kind for Cliff Barker and Malcolm Hubert, who saw everybody else go past while they tried to get their Pennzoil Land Rover out of the mud. The water also caused a few stutters from the 2-litre VW engine of Warren and Dave Conway's Dominator Sandmaster. Neil Woolridge and Paul Vermaak had no problems in their Mitsubishi Pajero, nor did Mike Redden and Hein Latergan in their Pennzoil Land Rover. Then it was the turn of the bikes to storm down the runway of Mku's Airstrip. The bigger engine machines obviously with the advantage of more power and speed. Not surprisingly, Alfie Cox on his AGA Panasonic Castrol KTM 360 took the lead, but championship leader Errol Dalton on his Shell Honda 500 wasn't going to allow his biggest rival to get away. Marco Cavino was third, followed by Richard Manning, Alex Vels, Grant Bloomfield and Darryl Curtis. Back to the cars, and by now Reineke and Houghton and Coetzee and Leek had broken clear of the field as they battled for the effective lead. It was good, high-speed stuff over the plains of northern KwaZulu-Natal. Vormrans and Calvert were going steady in their Blue Chip Racing race car, the 3.5-litre Porsche engine merrily singing along. Lambert and Fourie were pushing their Digidor Porsche as hard as it would go, while local boys Mark Laurie and Warren Morton were doing the same, eventually winning their regional class. Barker and Hubert eventually got themselves out of the mud and the Pennzoil Land Rover was flying. They'd already passed the Pajero of Woolridge and Vermaak, who had the other Pennzoil Land Rover, the diesel turbo of Redden and Latergan, hot on their heels. That's the little SVM Jeep of Mark Corbett and John Moore. The lubrication equipment race car of Bux Carolan and Kenny Scholthammer was chasing down the leading pack of special vehicles. The route took the form of a 500-kilometer loop eastward to Mbazwana and north towards Tembe Elephant Park. Shamir Variawa and Layakat Khan were trading carefully in their AV Racing Chenoweth Porsche. Chris Boucher indicating to Roy Slubber in which direction he has to point his race car. In the motorcycle category, Alfie Cox had taken his customary position in the overall and open class lead, pulling away from the rest of the field with ease and arriving at the control point long before any other rider. Lying second overall and leading the 250 class was Darryl Curtis on his AGA Panasonic Castrol KTM, while points leader Errol Dalton on his Shell Honda 500 was trying hard to catch Cox, not wanting to lose his championship lead. Some of the puddles were small enough not to bother the riders in the least. Gray McLaughlin on his Shell Honda was lying third in the 250 class behind Curtis and Vowles. Behind him, Alan Julian and Greg Aspinall were battling to catch the other 250s ahead of them. Elmer Simons on his Shell Racing Honda was trying to stay in touch with his teammates. In the 200cc category, another Shell Racing Honda was leading, this one with Wayne Farmer in control. Marco Cavina on his Shimwell's Yamaha 280 was going strong in the open class, while privateer Quentin Milton was right up there at the front on his Kawasaki 200 second in class. This innocent-looking puddle had some hidden surprises, as Christopher van der Merwe found out. Third in the quads, van der Merwe could kick himself. Careful! Skalkberger doesn't seem to be bothered by the possibility of a spin. Neither does it cause any headaches for John Craig Costello. Sixth at this stage was Anton Hoffman of the Jojo Tanks team.